How do you learn Korean efficiently soon in 2026? That's the question I ask myself every day right now. I built an app for this. I wanted to go back to it, to Korean learning after years away from it. And so I built something to fast track my own learning. So, quick recap, as I'm going to do every day, just for those who join us along the way. So, quick recap. I turned to ChatGPT quite fast after doing some Duolingo, Anki, Quizlet, all the old school tools. After years away from Korean, I was like, okay, what's new? And I realized nothing's really new. It's like talk to me in Korean, Quizlet, and everything. And I didn't want to create flashcards again. I didn't want to go through the same process. It felt so heavy to get back into it, like to find a community or whatever. I didn't feel excited about that, though I was excited to learn Korean. And I realized the reason why was because I was using ChatGPT a lot daily for personal questions, and I wanted to use ChatGPT to learn. For me, it's part of our habits, probably already. And so in the end, I installed Duolingo still because I was like, okay, let's go for the most fun so I can last. And then I realized I was sending screenshots to ChatGPT of Duolingo. And on these screenshots, I was asking questions like, is there a mistake here? I feel like this is a bit off, probably not idiomatic Korean. Can you confirm this kind of stuff? And so it felt really nice because I realized I was learning faster with ChatGPT. But then I realized I can't save it. I can't save anything ChatGPT is telling me. There's no connection directly to a flashcard app, so I can remember, study the next day. And so this is the exact reason why I created Amgi. So basically, Amgi is a flashcard system connected to ChatGPT, and it's designed specifically for language learning and memory, and right now focused on Korean. And so what I'm doing every day here is learning with my own method, with my own app, with ChatGPT, and a track of 1,000 words that are selected to be the most frequent ones and to cover like 90% of daily speech. And so I'm really focusing on daily speech. It's important to notice this here because like recently I saw a comment on Reddit of a person who was looking for a system to learn Korean, and they were focusing on polite formulation to be safe. And I feel like if you focus on politeness, you will encounter many words that you won't use in daily life with your friends, in a dating relationship or situation. And so I think it's a waste of time because anything polite, you can quickly add you at the end and you will be fine. So for me, it's probably more interesting to just learn the easy way, and adding politeness on top of it doesn't seem really tricky at the end of the day. So that's what I'm doing. I'm learning Banmal. And the only thing to be aware of if you want politeness is to learn the infinitive form of the verb, and then you add yo at the end, and it's almost easier than daily life. So this is what we're doing. Yesterday we learned a lot. We stayed an hour live, and basically it was all motivated by one sentence I was curious to speak, which was that I am impressed by artists that finally succeed, something like that. And so it's just the sentence that came to mind and that I wanted to try and express in Korean. And so that's the very cool thing about learning with ChatGPT. Not only is it cheap, it's like $20 a month, and you have infinite ability to ask questions and learn from where you are at. So that's the very, very, very important distinction with ChatGPT. And so today I want to do something a bit special that I forgot to do yesterday. We can go back on my Amgi trainer. So maybe I will rename it eventually, but basically this is the custom GPT prompted specifically to teach me Korean in a Banmal way. So there's a whole prompt for it to understand how to teach me Korean, how to craft each answer, and how to connect with Amgi calling API and stuff. And so, as you can see, we have an option here when we arrive on the GPT that is custom Korean story. And if I click this, it's going to pull my words from yesterday that are in the app, and it's going to create a story with my words. And so let's go along and do this. And then we will learn Korean together. So the challenge would be 1,000 words in 3 months. Yesterday I saved about 7 or 8 flashcards, including a sentence. So I'm not absolutely sure I will make 1,000 words. But I felt like yesterday going through the words, I was going much deeper than I would in a textbook or in a private lesson, because on each word I was able to ask specific questions to understand the nuance. And I think this matters a lot when you learn Korean, because the nuance of words is so important in this language. Like very easily, because it's not like if you're European or Occidental, you don't have any root shared with this language. And so it's very easy not to understand the nuance between two words and not to use the right one in a given situation. So people may understand it's going to feel so odd that you would feel like you're speaking to, I don't know, somebody from a book, and that's not what you want, right? So he gave us a story. So yesterday was about artists succeeding. So Minji loved drawing since she was little, but people said living as an artist was hard, so yet still she didn't give up. So it's really into the theme that we were having yesterday. She practiced a little every day and got better. Sometimes it was hard to believe in herself, but in the end she held an exhibition. People admired her paintings. Minji smiled and thought, hard work really doesn't betray you. So as you can see, it's very interesting because I started with just one sentence yesterday, just one thing I was curious to express, right? And so if today I'm not in the mood to ask questions, I can just type something like this, ask for a Korean story to ChatGPT, and this custom GPT Amgi trainer knows what to do in such a case. And so as you can see right here, there's so many sentences we can try and work on, and there will be many words I can learn today just from this. So I think this is a good basis to start the day. But before we go with this, I will ask something very cool. This is a feature I want to show you guys because it's the one I'm most excited about, and we'll probably see it every day or so. Please create a video from this story. Let's see what happens. So the video is being generated and it should be in this tab. So you need to be connected to the app to have it. So supposedly I should see a video processing, yes. Minji's dream, the artist who never gave up. So you see the vocabulary words 예술가, 감탄되다, 대단하다, 끝에 노력. Isn't it amazing? Because it's exactly the words I have in my vocabulary list right now. As you can see, we have 예술가. If we go through all our flashcards here, 감탄되다, 대단하다, these are all things that I'm currently learning, and it's going to use them in the video. And so we have a title, we have a few words of vocabulary just to, how to say, just for us to remember what this video is about, right? So when in the future I come back to it, I will be able to go over this video and remember the context in which I made it. Now, I think it takes about like 2-3 minutes. I will refresh. Sometimes it's not yet technically working. Okay, we got it. Let's see if the sentence is going to go through. I'm not sure. Can you hear it? I think you can hear it. I can't, but so the style and everything you can.
사람들이 그녀의 그림을 보고 감탄했지. 민지는 웃으면서 생각했어. 역시 노력.
Right, so see, it's a very, very short little story, and you can train your ear on it. So right now I didn't hear it because my mic is connected, but oops, I just realized my mic was kind of far away. I hope the sound was good. Hope the sound was good enough. Sorry for this. Hopefully the sound will be fine. Worst case, I will pause process it. So, right, so good news is we were not so far away in the video. So as you can see, yeah, we have this video that was generated. The style we can change in parameters later in our settings of the app. So I will not go through this one right away. We will be working on the text itself so we can learn new words. And then I will personally work on this one just to train my ear. So let's see. Here we are. So today, 미지는 어릴 때부터 그림을 좋아했어. 근데 사람들은 예술가로 사는 게 힘들다고 했지. So people said it was hard to live. So here it's 살다, infinitive, but it becomes 사는 게 to express the fact of living of it. 힘들다고 했지. 그래도 민지는 포기 안 했어. 포기하다 means to abandon, right? To give up. 매일 조금씩. 조금씩 means little by little, right? Yeah, a little every day. 조금씩. 매일 조금씩. 연습하면서 실력이 늘었거든. 늘다 means to get better. 가끔은 자신을 믿기 힘들었지만 그때 전시회를 열었어. So 전시회 is an exhibition. So this is quite an advanced word. So I have my Korean vocab explorer here. I want to check if this word is used a lot or how frequent. It's kind of a specific word, right? But it doesn't hurt to. Yeah, so it's kind of a formal word, but we use it spoken. It's not so frequent, right? So this is not a very important word to learn. So I'm not sure I will focus on this one, but there it is. 사람들이 그녀의 그림을 보고 감탄했지. 민지는 웃으면서 생각했어. 역시 노력은 배신 안 하는구나. So 노력, the effort that we saw yesterday. 역시. I'm not sure what 역시 means here. 배신, so 배시다, I guess it's to betray. 하는구나. Okay, so this is the thing we will be working on today. But before this, what I want to do is Let me see. What I want to do is first go over what I have already written down in my flashcard app. So let's just review yesterday's words and then we will go through the new sentences. So artist, you can say 작곡가 or artist. Is it right? Yeah. 예술가. I said 예술가 or 작곡가, sorry. 예술가, artist. Okay, it's good for today. And at the end of after. So this is 끝에. So 끝에. Okay, good. When I see people who work hard and finally succeed, I think they're amazing. So this was the sentence from yesterday, and this is the hard part of the study of today. So there were multiple ways of saying it. There was like the first way of saying who really worked hard. There was like 오랜 노력 끝에, which meant after long effort. But here I saved another one, which was 노력하다가. So 노력하다가 meaning after work. And there's 열심히 to say that you're putting in a lot of effort. 열심히. So that would be 열심히 노력하다가 결국 성공한 사람 보면. So instead of making 사람 an object, a subject of the fact that they're amazing, we say that we see them succeed, and that's what makes us think that they're amazing. So 성공한 사람 보면 대단한 것 같다. Did something like that. Let's see again. 열심히 하다가. Okay, so I added 노력하다가 earlier. So 열심히 하다가 결국 성공한 사람들 보면 진짜 대단한 것 같다. Yes. So literally, people who finally succeed after a lot of work are amazing. So it's a bit easier than I think they're amazing, because if you wanted to say I think they're amazing, it would be 대단한다고 생각해. But people don't say this a lot. They'd rather say 대단한 것 같다. Okay, this is fine. It's not like super easy yet. So to be impressed, to admire. So there was 감탄되다. But people would rather say that people are impressive, which is 대단하다, which we just saw in the sentence. 감탄되다. Good. To someone, so to do something to someone, but it's emphasis on the fact that it's somebody, so it's not precisely a specific person. So it's 누군가한테. I could have just said somebody, but I wanted to keep the whole structure. 누군가한테. So this is fine. So when you lose something, like an object, this is 잃어버리다. And if you want to say to forget something, it's 잊어버리다. So 잃어버리다. Good. Again, okay, so there are two ways of saying again. There is the fact of returning to a previous state as it was written. So if I lent, I don't know, my umbrella to somebody and I receive it back, then you can use this formula. But if it's something that repeatedly occurs, like, I don't know, clouds showed up again today, and it was the same thing yesterday, you would say to. So there are two facts. There's 다시, So if someone comes back to your place, you could say dashi waso. Or if somebody is doing something again in a repeated manner, you'd say to 했어. Good. And so, okay, so here we are in active mode. So the one that was rated the less came in faster, so I can review it again. I'm not going to do this. Usually I would do the chill mode, which is like you study once per day or per few days some cards. So there's the space repetition system implemented inside it. But here we're good for today. We reviewed our few lessons. Okay, so let me see. Let's go over the English version and see how we can learn this. Or say it in Korean, and we have the translation right next to it. So Minji loved drawing since she was little. So drawing, it's 그림그리다. And to say since she was little, it's 어릴 때부터. So we would say something like 어릴 때부터. 어릴 때부터. So obviously we would start with 민지는 어릴 때부터 민지는 어릴 때부터 그림 그리는 게 그리는 거 좋아했어. 했는데. Okay. We'll see the translation after. You can try at the same time, right? But people said living as an artist was hard. 근데 사람들은 그 이적으로, I think you can say this to express in this way. 이적으로 사는 게 힘들다, 힘들다고, 한다고, sorry, 한다고 했지. So they said that living like this was hard. Well, here I'm saying living like this, but I should say 예술가로, I guess. 예술가로. Still, what would you say still here? 그런데 그런데 민지는 포기 안 했어. 포기하다. 포기 안 했어. 포기 안 했어. 근데 포기 안 했어. 매일, so everyday 매일 조금씩 매일 조금씩 연습 for practice. This is quite a common word, really. We use it a lot even for like training sport. 매일 조금씩 연습 했어? 연습했어? 매일 조금씩 연습해서 좋아졌어? I know that I'm not saying exactly what Korean ChatGPT gave me earlier, but I'm curious to confront our two translations. 매일 조금씩 연습해서 좋아졌어. And I want ChatGPT to correct what I say here if I make mistakes, because this is the way I would naturally say it. 매일 조금씩 연습해서 좋아졌어. Sometimes it's hard to believe in yourself. So 가끔 for sometimes. 가끔 자기. I think when you're speaking about yourself, you use the word 자기. 가끔 자기 믿는 거. So 믿다 for believe. 믿는 거. To believe. 가끔 자기 믿는 거 어려웠는데, so to be hard, 어려웠는데, but at the end, so we saw today 끝에, to say at the end. 근데 끝에 exhibition. Do I still have the word here? Yeah. 전시회. Make this right. 전시회 했어? 했어. People admired her painting. So we saw admire earlier, right? 사람들은 얘의 그림들을 감탄했지. 감탄했어. Okay, let's stop here for now. And so I will tell ChatGPT that I tried this translation. I tried this translation without checking yours. Can you correct it and compare? And let's go on a full breakdown on the differences and mistakes. So naturalness problems, grammar problems, political issues, Let me get sound a little learner-like instead of native casual. So number one, 민지는 어릴 때부터 그림 그리는 걸 좋아했어. So I didn't say 걸 here because usually orally you don't say it. There should be space. So this is something, a problem you only have when you write. And I will make many mistakes like that for sure. Okay, I didn't know that because there was a but on the following sentence. Let's see here. Okay, so their sentence was like 민지는 어릴 때부터 그림을 좋아했어. So he said originally he just said that the person liked like drawing, but when it's a drawing like this, you're not absolutely sure if it's the fact of drawing or drawings in general, I think. So that's why I said 그리는 거. Okay, 근데. So I added 근데 at the end instead of starting with 근데. 근데 사람들은 예술가로. Okay, so that was I said 이쪽으로 instead of 예술가로 to say this way rather than as an artist. 사는 거 힘들다고. Okay. So what I said here, 사람들은 이쪽으로 예술가로. Let's see what ChatGPT thinks about this. 사람들은 이쪽으로 예술가로 사는. 근데 사람들은 예술가로 사는. 이쪽으로 seemed like a typo. Maybe you meant 이쪽. Oh yes, okay. So it's joke. Okay, not joke, but joke. 야, 사람들은 이쪽으로 가는 게 right, so about item 2, I would not be able to say to live like this by saying, because actually I think ijokuru can only be for a direction, like a physical direction, like on a road, and probably not the metaphorical road, by saying let's see. 이쪽으로 와. 나는 이쪽으로 갈게. 요즘은 이쪽으로 일해. IT 쪽으로. When it's about carry path, you can say 이쪽으로 가다. 들어가다. 일하다. So you could say if you really want to use 이쪽으로, 사람들은 이쪽으로 가는 게 힘들다고 했지. So this is one thing I want to say. Save. So we're going to save a few things after we review all that's been said here. Correct. 그런데 포기 안 했어. This one was kind of right. So 포기하다 is to give up. This one I already know. I probably don't need to save it. 매일 조금씩 연습해서 좋아졌어. 매일 조금씩. I had the typo here, so 조금씩 is double S. 연습하면서 실력이 늘었어. 실력이 늘었어. So 좋아지다 is only for feeling or situation, not skill. I'm curious about 실력, if it's a very common word or if we're into like rare ones. Yeah, 실력, the ability is actually frequency 7 and you use it in everyday life. Okay. And the 늘다, I think it means to become better. 늘다. 늘다. To increase, B1, daily life spoken. So yeah, both are kind of common. 실력이 늘었어. 연습해서 is grammatically fine, but 연습하면서 gives that ongoing, gradual vibe. Okay, for sure. So let's save this one as it's very special to improve the skill with two words that are really kind of common. 민족으로 Okay, what else do we have here? Okay, sentence 5. 가끔 자기 믿는 거 어려웠는데 그때 좀 실패했어. So I was trying to say that it's hard to believe in herself sometimes, but at the end she held an exhibition. So the correct version is 가끔은 자신을 믿기 힘들었지만 there's so many differences just in one sentence. 그때 전시회를 열었어. She opened an exhibition. So 열리다, yeah, to be open. 열다, to open. Sorry, 열다. 자신 and 자기 are really tricky for me. So it's two things that mean about yourself, and I don't remember the difference right now. And same thing with 믿는 거 versus 믿기. It's always kind of a problem for me. And I'm not sure why we could not use 어렵다 and had to use 힘들다 here. Notes. 자기 믿는 거 becomes 자신을 믿기, grammatical and natural. 명은네, it was hard, but fine, but you switch close types. 지만 for smoother contrast. 전시회 했어. 그랜세이 전시회를 열었어. Okay, I'm first going to save these two and I will ask other questions first. After, I mean. So it's saving in my flashcard app. Let's see what else. Yeah, I was here. Right there. Okay, questions about sentence 5. One, why 자기 and not, I mean, why 자신 and not 자기? Please explain the nuance. These two are really, really common, so it's important, I think, to know the difference. Why midki? So midki rather than 믿는 거. 믿는 거. This is another important question. And I want to make sure that audio one today was kind of fine. Because nundejiman should be the same, and usually you use nunde orally, so that's why I'm kind of confused here. I think that's all I want to ask here. Yeah, so let's first ask on sentence 5, and later we'll see sentence 6. Sentence 5 recap. 자기 against 자신. Subtle difference in tone and usage. So 자기 means oneself. So in both cases, it's oneself. Yeah, I'm not talking about the dawning version of it. It's just 자기 about oneself. Typical use, very casual. Use for others or as a pet name. Oh, it's used for others though. Oh. 자신을 믿어야 해. So actually you don't use 자기 for yourself. I think that's, so if we put it simply, you don't use 자기 if you talk about your own self. It's more like the oneself of somebody else, right? If you want to say believe in yourself, so your own oneself, then you use 자신. I guess that's what I understand from it. Okay, so this is the first question. Second question, 믿기, again, 믿는 거. Both are grammatically valid, but differ in what they emphasize. Okay, so they are both fine. So this is important to note. 믿는 거 is the act of believing. And 믿기 is believing itself. So it's kind of tricky, isn't it? Expressing how easy or hard it is to do something. Grammatic Koreans often use Koreans often use gi before adjectives like 쉽다, 어렵다, 힘들다. Because the gi form makes the verb function as a mental action, not a static noun. 자신을 믿기 힘들었어. They use gi before the adjective, not on them. Okay. Because the gi form makes the verb function as a mental action. Because if you use 믿는 거, you transform 믿다, so to believe, into a noun. And so you're talking about the belief in a way. It's okay, so let me ask this. So for the second point about 믿는 거, 믿는 거. This one would be closer to the word belief itself, right? Which is 믿음. 믿음. So this is a belief. And if I say 믿는 거, probably it's like an interchange with 믿음, I think. But what you want is not this. You want to say that she was not believing in herself. So you want to transform the verb as an ongoing action. And so you use gi instead. Okay, so gi, so yeah, hard, easy to do something, you would rather use gi plus this. Okay. I want to save this one. By the way, I still have a question because we said that 자기 was about the oneself of somebody else. But so I was talking about her. So from my perspective, Jagi should have been fine. So I'm a bit confused again. We said that Jagi is fine for the oneself of somebody else. So when I was talking about Minji in the story, relatively, from my perspective, Jagi was fine, right? But maybe because he is the character in this story, I had to use 자신. That it gets tricky because it's like kind of becomes a bit literary here. In oral conversation, where you wouldn't come into this problem so often, I guess. I mean, it's like reported speech, so it's quite common to report speech in daily life too. So is it a reported speech problem here? Okay, let's ask this. Final question. Guys, I'm sorry there's so many questions every time, but I feel like it matters to go deep, because then when we review the words, we have all this depth that comes back. And there's so many nuances in Korean, you have to go through it. So the last thing, 어려웠는데 against 힘들었지만. Yes, you're right about the spoken tone you asked. 어려웠는데 was fine, right? I mean, 는데 is more common orally. Totally fair, and yes, 는데 is very common in speech. Let's see why both are fine, but slightly different in tone. 어려웠네, meaning it was hard, but, and then something happened. conversational, open, and leading into next point. 힘들었지만 it was hard, but contrast, complete. So if you said 가끔 자기 믿는 거 어려웠는데 그때 전시회 했어. 열어. It's understandable and sounds open, casual, like telling a friend. Feels like, yeah, it was hard sometimes, she still did the exhibition. The version 가끔은 자신을 믿기 힘들었지만 그때 전시회를 열었어. Sounds a bit smoother and more story-like. Okay, some stuff is not really clear here, but okay, so what I understand in the end is that Nunde was fine, and Jiman is more like storytelling. So this is a problem with the fact that I asked for a story, and it made it into some sort of written way of speaking. So I may change the parameters of the story so that it's not written, but more like reported speech. I don't know. I'll think about this. Since I'm not looking for a written exercise, I'd like you to give me the same story as a reported speech, rather, in an oral conversation. So about Jashin and Jagi again. Jashin, literal meaning oneself. Perspective internal. Used for yourself or general truth. Feels like serious, neutral, or reflective. Jagi, oneself. That person. External, referring to another person from speaker's view. Referring to another person from the speaker's view. Examples. 나는 자신을 믿어. I believe in myself. 민지는 자기를 믿었어. 민지는 자기를 믿었어. 자기가 그랬잖아. 자기가 그랬잖아. 자기야, babe. So yes, if you're the subject, you'd say 자신. If you're talking about someone else, especially in a spoken story, Jackie is totally fine and natural. But, and this is key, in written storytelling, Korean tends to zoom out and use 자신 for everyone to avoid confusion when multiple people are involved. Okay, that's why my original narrative version had 자신. Ah. Yeah, so basically Jaggi would still be the one to go for in most of the time. So to sum up again, 자기 is the most common one in the end in everyday life, right? I can check in the vocab explorer again. 자기, 자기. Wait, what? 자기. 자기, oneself. It's very common, used every day. Okay, and if I say 자신, 자신 is oneself too, 7. So both are very, very common anyway. 자신감, confidence. So that's good to know. 자신감, confidence. 자신감, confidence. Okay. If we're in the nuance about 믿는 거 and 믿기, if we're in the nuance, 믿는 거, the act thing of believing, the act of trusting. 믿기, believing is a process. 믿음, faith. So yeah, 믿는 거 is toward the noun belief, while 믿기 connects better with verbs. So if we go through the story as reported speech rather, 기에 어릴 때부터 그리는 거 진짜 좋아했대. 근데 사람들은 이쪽으로 가는 게 힘들다고 했잖아. 그래도 포기 안 했대. So 때 here means that it's reported speech every time. 매일 조금씩 연습하면서 실력이 늘었대. 가끔은 자기를 믿기 힘들었는데 그때는 전시회도 열었대. 사람들이 그림 보고 완전 감탄했대. 사람들이 그림 보고 완전 감탄했어. 그림 보고 완전 감탄했다. Okay, very interesting. So to sum up again, so wait, because he didn't save it yet, I asked to just save this. I'm still having questions on this one. I really want to get it right. So you would say orally or 자기를 믿기 힘들어. I think this would be more general meaning. Is it more general meaning here? Like, it's hard to believe in oneself? So 자기 is absolutely more common. So 자기, talking about someone else. 민지는 자기를 믿었어. 민지는 자기를 믿었어. 민지 believe in herself. So I'm talking as an external person about 민지, and I can say 민지는 자기를 믿었어. 나 자기를 믿었어. So when I'm speaking about myself, I use 자신. I don't care about the last one. So 자신, it's clear that it's me. Let's just save the flashcard. So we'll save 자신 versus 자기. Oneself. Me, myself versus oneself, external. Okay, it's adding Korean in the back, so we'll remove it right away. Right there. I don't care about Dave in casual speech here. Save changes. Okay, good. So that was a lot. How long has it been? It's been 1 hour already. So that's a lot. We've seen a lot. Okay, you know what? It's ChatGPT, so let's use it to its maximal output. We've seen a lot today already. Can you sum up everything we've been through and what has been saved versus not saved yet? In all my mistakes and questions. Like in a table, please. This one I don't really care here. 이적으로 예술가로 쓰는 게 Okay, this one has been saved via another card apparently. 그런데 포기 안 했어. Okay, this is fine. 매일 조금씩 연습했어. 좋아졌어. I like this view. I should probably do something about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good use of the of ChatGPT here. I like it. I will keep this. I will keep this prompt somewhere, as in nice ways of using the a good prompt to have. So grammar and nuance lessons learned. 이적으로 예술가로 자기 against 자신. That's what took us the most time today. But it's important time to spend because something really that comes a lot and you don't want to be wondering every time. So wait, we saved something about trusting oneself, right? Well, it doesn't seem so. So 가끔, let's have 가끔 자신, so talking about myself, 자신 믿기 어려워. This is the most natural way of saying it's hard to believe in myself sometimes, right? 가끔은 자신을 it's reconnecting. 가끔은 자신을 믿기 힘들어. 가끔 자신 믿기 어려워. 힘들어. Okay, good. I already saved this. 자신을 믿기 힘들었어. But I didn't see it here. Is it normal? Or maybe it thought it saved it, but it did not. Yeah, it didn't. It's a mistake from ChatGPT here. I don't care about this one. 전시회, I mean, to open an exhibition, it's really specific. I don't think I need it. It's not frequent enough. I don't want to waste time on it. Okay, so once again, I didn't save a lot today. We spent a lot of time on 자기 against 자신. I put a lot of effort into understanding the nuance. I'm so sorry, I guess it's not very beginner friendly what we're doing here, but I'm hoping that you are extracting value for you in the way I use ChatGPT with Amgi. And so if you're a beginner, maybe you can have the video on the background and do your own stuff with ChatGPT and this custom GPT at the same time, and try to use your own words, try to make your own translations, ask your own questions, to have the feedback you need, because that's the whole point of Amgi. It's like you learn from where you're at. So I'm just I'm just showing you that it's possible, and I'm curious about how far I can go with 90 days of this, saving in Amgi my progress. And so all the questions I've been asking here, like Jaggi against Jashin and everything, um, it's stuff that I intend not to ask again, right? Because I already asked the questions. So the whole point is that tomorrow I will go into my flashcard app, and I've already been over Jashin and Jaggi. So hopefully this time I will remember and I will not be asking as much around this again. And so the more you understand about common stuff, so here we're wasting time in a way, but on very, very common issues in Korean. And the more you'll go into these common issues about, again, Nimdae against Jiman, Jagi against Jashin, Ijakuro, all these contrast words, 믿는 거 against 믿기, what to use, when to use it, then you waste less time on these notions and you can focus either on the vocabulary or other grammatical structures, and you stop making mistakes. And I think a good language learner or like someone fluent is someone who masters the little they know. So like, or even if you're a dancer, like people will think that you dance very well if you know 3 moves and you don't try to make any other move, you just use them very fine. And so I think it's kind of the same in language learning, right? Obviously, if you don't understand everything, people will know you're not that fluent. But if when you speak, you use the right words, the words you know the right way, and the structures the right way, people will feel like you're a good speaker, right? And if you can't express everything, then you can fall back on easier versions. And so we're going step by step here, understanding the nuances so that when we add vocabulary to our list, then we know we use the right words for the right thing. And that's how we will expand our Korean capacity together. So I hope you enjoyed this live. Don't hesitate to like, follow everything. The point is for you to catch the other lives, and obviously you can watch the existing one faster, like 2x, if to just check if anything is of interest for you in a given session. Always a pleasure to learn Korean, and so this was day 3 of our little experiment with Amgi and ChatGPT. See you next time.